Hi, I'm Gary West from Heat Treat. We started Heat Treat in October of 2009. What happened is my wife's been a realtor for about 20 years, and in 2008 the real estate market got very slow. She took a job as a property manager, and she was managing 1,300 units. Probably in about June of 2009, maybe August, somewhere in there, she came across a unit that had bed bugs. So she called her typical pest control contractor, and he came out and he sprayed, put some pesticides down, and left. The next day, she had about 4 calls from the adjacent unit saying, "Hey, we got these bugs, I'm getting bit." So she called the pest control guy. He came back and he sprayed the original unit again because it still had bugs, and he sprayed all the adjacent units. Okay, everything seems great. He left, and the next day, now the adjacent units to the adjacent units of the original unit now were complaining of bugs. So she called an entomologist up at CSU, Matt Kemper, and she had, as a realtor, she had sold a house that he bought, and so they knew each other. And she said, "Hey, we got bed bugs. The pest control guy did it, but it seems like the pesticides are spreading the bugs." And he said, "Yeah, they will run away from the bed bugs." And she said, "Well, what do we do? I mean, this is getting out of control." He said, "The only thing working is heat." And she said, "Great, where do we get some heat to get this handled?" And he said, "I have no idea." So that was really the start of Heat Treat. We did a bunch of research. We found one company in Minnesota called Temp Air that manufactured UL-listed heaters specifically designed and engineered for killing bed bugs. So we drove out to Minnesota with a trailer. We bought one system. It was 4 heaters. And we drove back and we went and started treating those original units. By the time we were done, it turned out that there were actually 11 units that had become infested from the pesticides. We treated all of them. It worked great. Everything went fantastic. In that job, we hired Walter Penny, one of the local canine detectives for bed bugs. They are trained specifically to scent out bed bugs and find them. That's how we found exactly which units were infested and which ones weren't. He had some other customers, that's what he did. And so he referred us to some jobs, and we pretty much have been busy ever since. Those first 4 heaters, one of the first things we learned is 4 heaters wasn't adequate. We really needed 8 heater systems to do a regular normal size house of about 1,600 square feet. So we bought a second system pretty quickly, and pretty much have been busy ever since. The main effort really has been we don't have enough equipment. We keep buying more equipment, and we keep it booked up. So here we are 5 years later, and still always wishing we had more equipment. And that is pretty much the way Heat Treat got started. My background prior to doing this was I was a carpentry contractor, a general contractor. And 2008, when the recession came, I got slow also. Most of my guys, we laid them off, and I was just set to jump right in this when I heard about it. It was actually fortunate because another pest control company who did pesticides also knew that they were having trouble with pesticides, so they bought a heat system. And the difference was, as a contractor, my background being a contractor, we get up early. We, have a truckload of equipment that we have to unload and set up. It was really a completely different work ethic or model than what pest control companies have. They go out and they typically only spend 10 or 15 minutes putting their pesticides down or on the baseboard, and they're gone. So our system is an all-day treatment, and as a contractor, that's what I was used to. It turned out that the pest control company that bought those 4 heaters quickly found out what it was to, arrive at a job at 8 in the morning, leave at 7, and work all day to 5, 6 o'clock. And it, the long story short is we ended up buying his system from him at, about 50 cents on the dollar. And so that was really our second system. It took him only a few months to realize this wasn't for him. It is one of the rougher jobs, considering that we're working in a 135-degree environment. The heaters weigh 135 pounds. The cords are heavy. It's just heavy equipment, and it's all day at it. So that's enough on that video. Thanks.